Hello and welcome to Jurassic Park as we take a look at what is currently the fastest launch coaster in the world at Universal Studios in Islands of Adventure, Orlando, Florida. Now we are spoilt for choice with all the bits and pieces that we're going to be having a look at, including this massive log flume just here. Now this is the next upload in our detached series. This is a non-Lego related upload, but it's still linked to a Lego trip or visit. Now this theme park is extremely close to Legoland Florida. Now there are multiple playlists available of different theme parks around the world Lego related, and I've also linked some of the other theme parks to them as well, so it helps you book your trips ever so slightly. So you've got the accommodations and you've got all sorts of other little bits and pieces. So there's plenty to see within those playlists, and there's also plenty to see coming within this video. Now what we're going to do, this is actually split over 2 days. Day number 1 is where we're going to have a look around externally of almost everything that's available in the theme park, then stick our head into 1 or 2 other places. Day number 2 is when we walk through the actual Jurassic Park gates, and then we'll have a really good look at the Discovery Centre, because it started to rain, so that filled up very, very quickly. And when I was filming this, I could have actually split this video up into 3, because we've also got the queue line from the massive VelociCoaster coaster, which is the big thing that we saw right at the very, very start of the video, that I did manage to get on multiple times when I was here, including front row, which is really, really nice. And it was probably one of the best, well, it is the best roller coaster I have ever been on, so I can highly recommend that to everybody. Now, if the theming or anything has changed ever so slightly, this is now doing the voiceover. This is March of the year 2023. It was actually filmed in December of 2022. So if it has changed at all and things have actually reopened, then obviously please do let me know in the comments below if you have actually got yourself anything, or if anything has changed, or if you're thinking of coming in the 2023 season and you find this video helpful. It's always nice to know people's feedback. But with regards to this zone and this land, you are spoiled for choice with the stuff that you can go on. So you've got lots of viewing areas where, for example, that log flume was shooting down. That tells a really nice story actually from the original film. And then you've got the big animatronics T-Rex just before you go down the drop, and you've got lots of other places where you can just sort of hide away and just chill out around by the water. And then obviously you've got the other side of this land, which is all new for, I think it opened up in 2022, where you've got the new section that they've added in, where they actually built in onto the water. So you've got the queue line for the new roller coaster and some other little bits and pieces down there, and the new pathway, I think, into the Harry Potter section as well, which we will be exploring within this video. Now what we're about to take a quick look at this shop is actually, I think that says Outfitters. Outfitters is the exit of the ride of the log flume that we have just seen, so there's no other choice but to walk through this. And obviously it's very, very clever, because some people do get absolutely drenched, so they end up having to buy themselves a t-shirt or something like that, because they weren't quite prepared for how wet you were going to get, depending on, like I said, where you sat. But you have got every kind of thing you can imagine in here with regards to all the different kind of merchandise and the different logos as well. You can get signed bits and pieces, obviously non-signed. So whatever it is that you want here, you can pick up. And the prices, I do look at some of the tags. I think some of the cheapest stuff is about $55, and then some of the bags like that are well in the excess of 100. So you've got to be prepared to pay some big money if you want some really bigger things. But like the cups and the mugs and things like that, they weren't too bad. And you've got the big bottles and a lot of baseball caps and all sorts of different bits and pieces. And then again, with regards to the logo, you've got the different logos from the different films. You've got the Jurassic Park and the Jurassic World logo available. That's $55 US for that little backpack. So if there's anything that you spot or see, or you would think you would like to take with you if you ever came here, obviously please let me know. But I do believe we'll have a much better look at the pricing later on in the video from a different shop and store. But the fact that this is just coming off the ride, it is a huge, huge shop. It's probably the biggest exit shop I've ever walked through. Again, they've got everything, including all of the Lego sets, and they've got the Dino DNA. So the Mr. DNA t-shirts will meet Mr. DNA himself. He is part of the Discovery Cove area, which we'll be looking at later on within this video. So again, anything that's jumping out at you, let me know if there's anything you'd like to pick up with regards to t-shirts, and also what logo would you have as well. So the ride exit is literally to my right, so you can loop it through and you kick it all the way to the end. We'll just walk straight back out in a second, and then we'll take a full loop round all the way through. We will then check out the roller coaster shooting around the tracks again from a different angle, because it looks extremely impressive depending on where you're standing. There's some very, very powerful elements within that ride as well. And then, like I said, when we go through the Jurassic Park gates. That'll be a completely different day, and we actually come from a different area of the park as well. There's two ways into this park. You can come from the Harry Potter section, or I do believe the other section is actually Kong. So you've got two different ways in, so you can just walk all the way through. It's just one big loop, this park, so you can't really get lost too much. Now, as we keep walking, on the left-hand side will actually be the queue line for the log flume itself, and you can see in the distance on the right-hand side, that is the viewing area for the new and massive roller coaster. It is unbelievable just how much track that is, and you're on there for a good amount of time as well, and it is ridiculously quick. But they call it the river adventure for the log flume. With the weather being as it is now, you could just walk on it, and it was literally just took you the length of the time to walk on the queue line, jump on, you could go around. You could do that as many times as you liked when the weather was a little bit cooler, but the second it got warmer, there was a massive queue for that thing. So if you've managed to get on it, or you're looking forward to that, let me know. So as we come through and round, you can see everything to the right hand side. That is all new. That is still the same massive roller coaster. We will have a quick look through some of those bars and barriers when we start looping back up. And then to the left hand side, that I think has recently moved. This is like a meet and greet for some of the almost, I think, like an animatronic type encounter. So that's a pretty cool thing, but it's very much a case of just queue up and wait for that one. And then you've got other places that you can eat, sit down and chill out. Obviously the tables and chairs are covered because the weather was very, very hit and miss, and obviously you can imagine how hot it is and obviously how wet it gets, so there's plenty of places to sit down and get away from everything. So that is the first big eatery on the left hand side, and again everything to the right hand side is just the ride. Now as we come through, you can see certain areas of the park are very, very busy, and other areas actually within the day that you came weren't too bad whatsoever. I think it's very, very lucky and very much month depending on when you go. I can imagine now, I think it might be spring break over in the States right now, and I can imagine this is absolutely heaving full of people. So I bet it looks a little bit different now to what it does in December, because like I said, this was actually filmed in December, and yes, you are still wearing shorts and t-shirt. It was still warm enough to be able to do it, but the temperature hadn't quite dropped yet. You've got a lot of pay to plays in the middle. So if you aren't any good at any of these whatsoever, then obviously this will be your little area that you can go in. I think this was one of the only pockets in the park that they had the pay-to-plays left, I think. They didn't have them anywhere else. That Discovery Centre, we will be having an extremely big and good look inside that, which would be day 2, which will be the second part of this video once we got on the queue line. But you can see just how cool the lights are, how they're being held by the claw. So there's lots and lots of detail as we sort of walk around and sort of soak everything in. And again, you've got the different Jeeps as well, so you've got the 2 different types, which also look very, very effective. And again, it's still sticking with the Jurassic Park sort of logo and colours rather than the Jurassic World on those. And as we come through and down, I do believe then it will split. So what you can do when we get to this popcorn bit, if you were to carry on walking in a straight line, that then takes you into the Harry Potter section. But if you were to turn right just here, that would take you into the new VelociCoaster section, which we will be looping back around on ourselves in a second to have a look at. So we'll go down to, I do believe, to where the gates are very, very quickly, turn around, come back in, then we'll obviously turn left. And then on the day number 2, we just walk in a straight line and go into the bits that we've missed. So there's lots of food eateries down this way. There's a lot of pizza. You've got lots and lots of sat down places that you can go. You can see how long the line was for the popcorn as well. So as you first come in through the gates, you get hit by a waft of popcorn and everything else. Everybody will then just pick up all the bits and pieces and they'll just nibble food as they go around. The detail on obviously all the rockery and everything like that is very, very impressive. And obviously we're about to have a look at the world famous gates, so that is a cool looking thing. And the fire was working nicely on this day, but if you play Spot the Difference on the following day, I do believe the flame on the left hand side was not running too well. So it's very, very cool that you can see how that works. And I will imagine the reason why I stood there for so long is to my head, I was thinking that would be my screen grab. So as we come in now, hopefully I'm going to walk in, turn left, go down, we'll have a look at the new roller coaster. Join the queue line, we'll have a quick look at the queue. Now this is where it says pathway closed. That is because they were doing all of the fireworks. No, it wasn't, that was the laser. So what they had is, because it was over the Christmas period, on the Hogwarts Castle, they did all the Christmas shows, and there was tons and tons of people waiting to see it. So you could not physically walk through that area at all. It was absolutely crammed. Basically everybody in the park hid down that way, just wanting to see all the lights and everything. I have actually managed to film that, and I was sort of kind of front row completely by mistake. How I did that, I do not know. So that was really, really nice to soak in and take in. So that will be available at some point. I'll probably upload it at Easter or somewhere like that, even though it's supposed to be a Christmas thing. So we have obviously come in, we passed the popcorn that was to the right, and now we are walking down. You can just see how big this roller coaster is in the distance. The height of this thing towers over anything else that you can see anywhere close, and you can in the distance still see the Hulk coaster, which was last week's upload, and that was a big looking thing as well. But this thing, just enormous, and the screams that come from this thing as well, they are crazy. And you can see it's obviously just one car. It's all the track that you see is where you come up, you come back down, you come back through, and you come back round. I am stood in a completely different place to where I was before the start of the video. It is just that this roller coaster is that big. Now, I do believe I might have managed, again by fluke, to catch something that is about to come up and over the top. So I will go quiet in a second, because I think we might be hearing some screams, which is always a good bit of fun. If not, then obviously I'm talking absolute nonsense. But I think here it is. It has so much pace to that as you come up and down that massive drop. And then that is what we're going to be looking in much, much more greater detail on day 2. That has got the 2 ways in, 2 ways out. That thing is, again, massive. That actually has lockers on the inside. But what we're going to do now is we're going to join the queue. We're going to get in. We're going to get on it and just sort of cut this queue line up. Loads of animatronics in this queue line as well. It's not boring whatsoever. And the queue shifts because they've got so many trains running. You just continuously walk. Even if the queue's full, you do move a lot, unless obviously everybody has the fast pass, and then you sort of do get stuck a little bit. But it's very, very fast queue line. It's one of the quickest queue lines that I've been in, and the theming of this is, again, outstanding. You can see you've got all the little raptors further on, and then you do have the animatronics of the raptors on the inside, and you can also see the coaster being launched from the queue line as well, and you can hear all the screams and everything as you go through. We timed it perfectly wrong on that one. We didn't actually manage to see it, but you will see the window as we walk by. Obviously, all the videos and everything on the outside, that is all the information with regards to what not to do. You go through metal detectors and everything like that, and so it tells a story from part of the film. That is the windows that, if you catch it right, you would just see everybody getting shot through on that bit. The lights start to go when one of the coasters is getting close. I have actually seen it, but I didn't actually have the camera in my hand when it went off. And then as we come through and into the next room, you can see it's about to come through now. We just missed that because the lights went red. As we come through, I think we've got some Velociraptor animatronics, which look very, very impressive. And you've obviously, you saw them there on the glass. There's lots to soak in, take in, and have a look at. So there's lots of information being thrown at you. So this queue line is not boring whatsoever. And because of how quickly the queue line moves, you don't get to hear the same story multiple times, which is good. So it's not like you get stuck in the same area and you hear the same thing 5 or 6 times. It does get sort of, you get spat through very, very quickly. We have got a little bit more to go, so that is still the DNA. So that's they're talking about how they're mixing and matching up all the dinosaurs and everything, again, which we'll be having a look at in a bit of a greater detail in probably about 30 seconds. We will then skip to the next day. We will finish this bit at the lockers, so we are just continuously walking through, then all of a sudden the lockers will appear. Those animatronics look absolutely amazing. They've got them dotted around on both sides, so you can get a good look at them. Everybody was stopping and getting their photos done with those, and they really do shake and rattle quite a lot, and the eye movement on them is very, very good. They do give a lot of noise off as well. So if you are a little bit sort of scared of things like that, then you've got to be careful as you go through, but you won't get there stuck there for too long. As you can see, you go straight to the lockers, and then you actually then join what would be the main queue from there. So you can see, different day, only because the flame isn't working. So we are now going back through the Jurassic Park gates, and then we'll sort of cut this up a little bit more. So we'll then skip to the popcorn, walk past the popcorn a slightly different way, and then we'll skip to the next bit, which will be the shop. So we've got about 15 more minutes. So we're at the halfway mark of this video, so we've got lots and lots of merchandise to have a look at. And then as we come back up, we'll then have a look at the coasters shooting around the tracks the opposite way round as well. So we've still got lots of things to look at. We've sort of just done half a loop so far. We've seen everything on the left. Now we're going to have everything on our left hand side again, so it is one full loop. You can see how beautiful the weather is on this day. The fact that it was just 24 hours apart from each other and the sky is completely clear, whereas the day before it was a little bit rough and ready. And you know, you've got to take that with a pinch of salt, considering it is in December. Now you're coming through, you've got, again, huge amount of merchandise within this little bit, and this is like the little shop, and then you walk round the corner, down a load of stairs, and you've got even more merchandise down there as well. So you've got the windbreaker, you've got a nice hoodie. So this one was $47, and then you've got a lot of other bits and pieces with regards to the different type of hats. You can see the different logos, the different colours on the t-shirt, the cups, the mugs, and then you've got more teddy bear basic things within this one. And then I think what we'll do is spend a bit of time then looking at all of the other features and games that you can play. You can create your own dinosaurs, if I remember rightly, and then you've got loads of information with regards to just like the skeleton and everything like that. Now, I think what they've done is that they've tried to copy the bit from the first film that never really officially got open, which is actually going to be a new Lego set coming, which will be pretty cool, which is the Discovery Centre. So that's why I'm quite excited about all the new Lego sets that are going to be coming for Jurassic Park, because we can just create this. So this whole land is exactly what I'm going to be doing my own display. So if you had no idea this existed, but you are into your Lego and you wonder what I've been waffling on about on all the lives that I've been doing, it's this. This is the sole reason why, because they've already done it at Orlando, and now we can recreate that in our own scale as well. They've got different t-shirts here though compared to what they did, what we saw, what was technically the day before this in a completely different area coming off the log flume. And then there is another shop just on that side, and that's where you can do all of the other different bits and pieces as well. So again, we'll finish off having a look at some of the logos on this. They've Mr. DNA t-shirts again, and you've got the little backpacks. You've got some weird jewelry and all the other little bits and pieces within this section. So it's much more of a gift shop type area. And then as we turn around, I think we'll go left to go left again, and then we can then walk down. I think we've got to walk down some stairs, and then we can get involved in all of the other little bits and pieces that are to come. So again, this area of this park, depending on what time you come, very, very busy. You can see a lot of people actually use the Discovery Centre as a cut through to get to the new roller coaster, because you don't have to walk all the way up and all the way around. I did not realise that until I actually got to the queue line the first time, because you can just walk straight in, you go down the stairs, and you go out the side door, which is the door that we saw about 2-3 minutes ago before we joined the queue line. So this now has a lot of footfall coming through, and it is a very big eatery as well. But does this look familiar from the film and for the set that is about to be released? So hopefully this is giving everybody ideas, and if obviously you're not a Lego fan, don't panic too much, because like I said, this is going to be almost a weekly thing depending on how well the videos do, and then we can just take it from there. But you've got a lot of stuff from Dubai, you've got a lot of stuff from Tennessee, a lot of stuff from Florida as well, all main sort of theme parks like what we're looking at now. Now, as we come down the stairs, we'll then hit all the merchandise, but you can see the door right at the very, very bottom. That door is where you would then get to the queue line of where we've just been. But the scale of these skeletons and the dinosaurs and everything are absolutely massive. And again, you are spoilt with regards to the amount of stuff that you can buy if you wanted to. You could, and this is all Jurassic Park. This is nothing else. No other themes. They might have the odd Universal jackets, but everything that we are looking at now, it is all to do with dinosaurs. There's nothing else really within this store. So just imagine how big the official Universal stores are. When we find one, there will be a video of that uploaded. It is enormous, and the stock take that they've got is just incredible as well. Now, this is one of the things that you can do here, so you can create your own dinosaur. So we'll go through the process now. So if you recognise anything whatsoever, then let me know in the comments. Let me know if it brings back any memories from the films or anything like that. If you've stuck with me so far, we have just got 10 minutes left. So we are at Mr. DNA. So obviously he is from the original film. And then he will let us know exactly what's going to be going on. So this kind of mimics the sat-down ride that they were on when they were taking a bit of a tour, because I think it ends up trying to hatch an egg. So you've got to make it up if you are obviously a carnivore or a herbivore, and then you just pick and choose what it is you want to do. Are you fast or strong? I think I just end up pushing the same button every single time. Are you small or large? I just hit the green one. And then yeah, I didn't really think about that too much. I just hit the green 4 times, and it gives me to be a raptor, which is pretty cool. And then we'll follow it round. We come down, and then we will see, I think what it then does, it merges your face with the dinosaur, and then that's what it gives you and what you would look like as a dinosaur. So I think what we're going to be doing now is telling us to do a brain scan where you put your face over something, which is that thing just there. So obviously I couldn't do that with the camera, so I put my noggin there. It has a look at my face, and then you can see what I'm trying to do. You've got to get your eyes in the holes. It scans you. You look absolutely terrible. I do not believe there will be ever a good opportunity to be looking like a proper dinosaur. If you have done this, what options did it give you? What dinosaur did it end up making you? Because I can imagine it does it different for absolutely everybody. But yeah, we'll be having a look at that in a short while as it processes everything. I think there's just one more stage. But you can imagine how entertaining this is for the families. It just kills a little bit of time, especially if you've just had something to eat and you need it to digest before you get on any of the rides again. So then for that stage number 3, it gives you the DNA scan. It comes down, and is it going to show us what the photo looks like? Where does it show us? Maybe I'm talking not. I thought it does, but I can't remember where. So you've got to do your hand scan next, and then it will give you what it is you want to do. So again, you can just get the little ones to read all of this. It took me long enough to figure it out. So obviously, as a family with screaming kids, it will eat into the time nicely. And this is just one of multiple things that you can do within this zone as well. So as you saw, you've got the little shop on the left hand side, you've got the big staircase coming down into the Discovery Centre where you can sit down, a lot of eateries around the outside as well, and you've got different bits and pieces like this to have a look at, and then we have got other bits and pieces to see as well. I do believe we'll be having a look at some of the massive dinosaurs, and it gives us some information. That is how bad I look as a dinosaur. That is absolutely horrendous. And then I think what we do is, because that is more than enough of me looking like a velociraptor, we will then cut and move to the next part, which is this. So this is something completely different. It's in a completely different area. You can just see what it's telling you to do, and then we will move on and have a look at the next bit. So that is in a different zone, or that was what we've just done, sorry, shall I say, before we move on to the next zone. So the next zone I'm talking about is the opposite side. That's the staircase that we've come down and wrap around, and I think from below it might actually show you just better how much bigger these dinosaurs actually are. Everything is on a massive scale at the theme park, and as you can probably tell by now, they do the theming properly. So if you're in the queue line, if you're walking around each land or each zone, the theming is extremely impressive. It's not like you just sort of everything looks exactly the same and then you've got a load of roller coasters dotted all over the place. But this, a little bit further on now to where they are, that is something completely different. We did not do that at all. And you can see there is a live actor there talking about the eggs, and that is where the egg is hatching. So again, you can spend a good amount of time in there doing those little bits and pieces as well if you wanted to. And then moving on to the left hand side, again, this is something completely different again, where you can have a look around and you've got all the different lights, and there's a couple of screens and things to have a look at within this area. And I think there's another pod of stuff to go in. And then you've got another area of things, so you can see just how long you can spend in here. And obviously, if the weather is absolutely terrible, or it's just having one of its famous half-hour downpours, you could easily spend half an hour in here alone just doing all of the different bits and pieces. I mean, we've spent, probably 10 minutes in here already, and you've got some really nice photo opportunities with these huge dinosaurs as well. So, lots of information. If you want to stop and read absolutely everything, it does give you all the information about all the dinosaurs that are in there. They've got these sort of signposts dotted all over the place. I like how it's actually wrapped around the wall as well, so it's done quite cleverly. And then as we come through, they've got these things just here where you can stop, get your photo taken like everybody else was doing. And then you've got a couple of the different ones. If you can name any of these dinosaurs, then go for it. Let me know in the comments below if you can name any of these whatsoever. And it's hopefully coming through on the camera just to the scale of how big that thing actually is, because the head of that is probably in line of where I was on the staircase, and you saw how many stairs I walked down. So it is huge. Got one more of these to have a look at, and then I think what we'll do is escape back outside, and then we'll have a look at the rest of the roller coaster going around on everything on the left. And I think we might be finishing close to where we started, I think. So we haven't got too much more time left to go, but again, you can see they've even got the big elevators either side. There's people going up and down on those. Obviously, you've got your pushchair. You can easily get up and down. You don't have to worry about the stairs, nor do you have to then walk all the way around the outside of this to get in and through. I think originally the restaurant used to overlook the water, and you actually did have a view. And then when it was being built, you could see a little bit of it, and then they blocked the windows off. I think, if I have caught that correctly, that is what happened when they were building the new roller coaster. And then depending on where you now get put to sit, you might be able to have a good viewpoint. So I don't know if that is the case, and obviously if you are a local, let me know, because I could not see that for myself, but I do like all the artwork and everything on the walls. And again, there's your sort of wheelchair, pushchair access, or just your normal big lifts as well. And then we will, I think, now head back up the stairs, head up and outside, because we've got about less than 5 minutes left. So there's not much more to go, which means we have still got to see some of the little bits and pieces of the roller coaster. So we will get outside in a second, and then we'll shoot up the stairs and then just see exactly what's what. I think, if I remember rightly, we end up bottlenecking up on the stairs, so we get stuck for a second or so, because we can't get back up there. Just cut a little bit of that off, because that was actually taking forever, so the video is now slightly shorter. Now, we have got a very famous scene with a big signed photo, so it's $1,225, I do believe that was. This is the last little bit of clothing that we're going to see from here, and then we're going to go outside. We're going to have a quick look at the last sort of adventure play area. This was also where the ride was not open either, so if they have done something back to this ride and you are local, like I said, please fill everybody in the comments below. But those green pillars, if I was to look directly up, there's a track that loops around the top, and I think it would give you a very good aerial view of the Jurassic Park land. But as we walk through and round, the gate is there, so you can't actually go any further, I think, because that's actually the gate from the exit anyway. So then I just end up turning left, have a bit of an adventure, look around. I end up turning the camera off, and then we end up finishing by the coast. If you can see just here where I'm stood by the waterfall, that is all blocked off. I think that must be the exit from the actual ride, and then it takes you into this area, or that is where you go in and queue. So I'm not 100% sure on that one, so again, if you can let me know, but I think that feels like that should be an exit, and then the queue must have been somewhere further up to the left hand side. So we'll get to the Echo Cove, we'll have a quick look at this, and then this is basically what the whole thing was like. It was just going around, crawling, not to say crawling, but you can sort of crouch down, have a good look and stick your head through and just see all the other little bits and pieces. So you could spend a huge amount of time in there, and in the middle of it there was good places to sit down and chill out as well. So it's very, very much of a family friendly zone, that area. So this is the final bit. You can, again, a bit of the coast that we have not seen yet. Huge thing on the outside, but guys, that is it. I am done. So again, if you can like, subscribe and all that good stuff, that'd be absolutely fantastic. But as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care. I'll catch you in the next one. Ta-da.